Imagine this. A civilization so wealthy its riches became the stuff of legend. Temples covered in gold, cities filled with canals and bridges, streets walked by scholars and engineers. And then one night, within a single night, it disappears beneath the waves, without leaving a trace. This is where the story of Atlantis begins. The greatest, lost city, legend in history, and one of the biggest mysteries still unsolved today. What makes it so fascinating isn't just its disappearance, but the surprising precision of the details. If the person who told this story had been an archaeologist instead of a philosopher, we might be having a very different conversation today. In Plato's writings, Atlantis isn't presented as a mere myth. It's almost described like a geological record. Its dimensions, geographic position, city layout, even the architecture of its capital are listed one by one. Such detail forces us to wonder. If it was entirely made up, why describe it in such measurable terms? Was it the memory of a real kingdom that vanished? Or the greatest metaphor ever written? This is what sets Atlantis apart from other myths. It is realistic enough to have existed, yet mysterious enough to be entirely fictional. And this ambiguity has caused humanity to ask the same question for thousands of years. Did Atlantis really exist? To answer that, we must first return to Plato. Because everything begins on the desk of a philosopher who lived 24 centuries ago. The earliest and the primary account of Atlantis belongs to Plato. But he never claims to have invented the story himself. Instead, he attributes it to a much older source, Solon. Solon was an Athenian statesman from the 6th century BC. During a visit to Egypt, the priests of Sais told him a shocking story. Throughout the ages, humanity has faced repeated destructions. The order of the heavens shifted, waters rose, fire rained from the sky. And long ago, there existed a civilization unknown to the world of Solon's time, Atlantis. The priest relayed this story to Solon as if teaching a lesson in history. The time frame, the size of the continent, the structure of the capital, everything was specific. Solon intended to write it down upon returning to Athens, but died before completing it. Centuries later, Plato got hold of Solon's notes and reinterpreted them. Thus, the story became immortal in Timaeus and Critias. But here enters a strange detail. The Critias text ends abruptly. Plato stops mid-story, right as he begins describing the magnificence of Atlantis. There is no continuation. This gap has fueled centuries of debate. Did the manuscript simply get lost? Or did Plato deliberately withhold a greater secret? Some historians believe the missing section once detailed Atlantis's destruction in much fuller detail, but was lost over time. Others believe Plato intentionally stopped, leaving the rest for the reader to imagine. Whichever is true, the empty space Plato left has never been filled. But to test the story's authenticity, we must move to the next step, science. The idea of Atlantis disappearing in a single night sounds mythical. But science offers surprisingly clear evidence that such events are possible. Near the end of the last ice age, massive ice sheets collapsed, causing ocean levels to rise dramatically within short periods. Scientists call these events meltwater pulses. Such sudden floods could have wiped out major coastal settlements entirely. Major volcanic eruptions throughout history, like Santorini, have erased coastal civilizations in mere hours. Mega tsunamis have the power to obliterate entire cities. So the idea of a civilization destroyed overnight is not scientifically impossible. Another clue lies in geological collapse zones. In the mid-Atlantic, enormous fault lines suggest that a large landmass could theoretically sink due to sudden tectonic failure. Supporting this, researchers have found symmetrical stone-like formations in some deep-sea regions. While most of these are probably natural, scientists are still searching for unmistakably man-made structures. But since only about 5% of the ocean floor has been mapped, the remaining 95% is an untouched mystery. Science doesn't deny Atlantis. It simply says, "We haven't found it, yet." And the next step in the search leads to the world's geography theories. There are countless theories about Atlantis's location, but 5 stand out. 1. The Atlantic Ocean, Azores Islands. Plato's phrase, "beyond the Pillars of Hercules," fits the Azores perfectly. The region is also a major tectonic collapse zone. 2. The Mediterranean, Santorini/Minoan civilization. Some historians argue Atlantis was the Minoan civilization, which was annihilated by the Santorini eruption. But Plato's timeline is much older. 3. North Africa, the Eye of the Sahara, Richat Structure. Atlantis is described as a ring-shaped city. Richat also has concentric rings. Ancient riverbeds in the region prove the area was once fertile. Its natural origin is known, but the resemblance remains striking. 4. South America, Bolivian/Altiplano region. Some reconstructions match Plato's measurements surprisingly well here. But its distance from the Mediterranean complicates the theory. 5. Antarctica, the continent beneath the ice. Historical maps showing Antarctica without ice have sparked theories that Atlantis was a frozen ancient landmass. Whichever theory holds truth, one thing remains. Proving Atlantis existed means rethinking world history itself. To do that, we must understand who its people were. According to Plato, the Atlanteans possessed knowledge far beyond their era. But is this just embellishment? Or do traces of such advanced knowledge appear elsewhere? The astronomical precision of the Egyptian pyramids. The laser-like stonework in South America. The technological leap implied by Göbekli Tepe. These point many researchers to a possibility. Ancient history included civilizations far more advanced than we once believed. Some argue Atlantis wasn't just an island, but the knowledge center of its age. If it existed, a handful of survivors may have escaped the catastrophe and carried their knowledge across the world. This could explain the parallels. Pyramids on multiple continents. Shared astronomical systems. Temples built with identical mathematical ratios. Repeated mythological motifs. Such widespread similarities are either the result of coincidence or the echoes of a shared core knowledge source. And that possibility brings Atlantis back into the equation. But to confirm this, we must examine the physical evidence. Around the world lie countless mysterious sites that archaeologists struggle to fully explain. Some of them strengthen the possibility of a lost advanced civilization. For example, Yonaguni Monument, Japan, a massive underwater staircase-like structure. Bimini Road, Bahamas, interlocking megalithic blocks beneath the ocean. Dvarka, India, a legendary sunken city. Doggerland, UK, a landmass that once connected Europe, later lost completely. Many of these may be natural formations, but taken together, they hint at a much larger picture. Much of human history remains hidden. We still know only a fraction of Earth. 95% of the oceans unexplored. Vast cave systems unknown. Buried desert cities untouched. Atlantis may simply be a symbol of all that remains undiscovered. Or it may be a real civilization we just haven't reached yet. Which shifts the real question. Not, did Atlantis exist? But, are we ready to find it? There is still no definitive answer. But we now know this much. Atlantis is not just a product of imagination. Plato's details are realistic, geological models fit, archaeological discoveries amaze, and ancient maps remain unexplained. Atlantis may not have been a single city. Perhaps it was an era, a culture, or a network of civilizations. Maybe they perished in a catastrophe. Maybe they shaped today's civilizations. Maybe their memory still echoes through humanity's oldest stories. We may never know for sure. But the fascination itself, our desire to search, is the greatest symbol of human curiosity. Perhaps one day, beneath the sea, under the sands, or within the ice, a doorway will open. And the lost pages of history will finally come to light. Until then, Atlantis remains both a legend and perhaps a truth that never fully disappeared. We've reached the end of our journey in search of the traces of Atlantis. If you've watched until this point, it means you've become part of this world of curiosity. Thank you. On this channel, we explore the hidden corners of human history together. And this journey doesn't end here. The direction of future videos is entirely in your hands. I've posted a poll in the community section of the channel. If there's a topic you'd like to see in the next documentary, just drop it there. Your insights shape the future of this channel. Today, we explored Atlantis. Tomorrow, it might be the mysteries of Göbekli Tepe, the secrets of ancient engineering, or lost technologies that reshaped world history. Thank you for being here. See you in the next exploration.